Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. I am Cecilia Savajan with Travel Oregon. I am the database information specialist on our marketing team. Today, we are going to learn all about Locl, and I am very excited to introduce our guest and presenter, Alexa Darrow with Locl. Welcome, Alexa.
Thanks, Cecilia. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. I am in Portland, where it's very sunny and cold and windy. So hopefully you're enjoying some sunshine as well. Thanks for being here and taking some time out of your day. Feel free to munch on some lunch right now if it's your lunchtime. I quickly just wanted to introduce myself. So I am Locl's Director of Customer Success. I've been at Locl for 3.5 years. Originally from the East Coast, moved out to Oregon in the end of 2014. So coming up on my 8-year anniversary here. And I have a background in hospitality and tourism, mostly in the PR space, PR and events. But came over to Locl about 3.5 years ago, and have been working with our partners like Travel Oregon, our customer base, et cetera, ever since. So really excited to be here. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we do, but I'm going to walk you through a presentation today that really should give you some guidance on a few things. So first, the importance of Google and the internet as a whole, what it means to optimize a Google Maps listing, and also a little bit about how to use our software in a demo portion of this presentation. So that way you're equipped to sign up and use this yourself. We have been working with Travel Oregon for quite some time now, and we're so excited. We've continued our partnership, and that means that because of that, you have access to Locl complimentary, courtesy of Travel Oregon, for the remainder of at least the next year, and hopefully more. So everything that you will take away from today, like Cecilia said, we'll be sending you a recording of this. We'll have slides that you'll get to. So if there's anything you missed, you're welcome to rewatch, and also always welcome to reach out to me or Cecilia directly. So to start, I don't know how many of you are super familiar with Google or Google Maps, but something I wanted to point out is that nearly half of searches, looks like we're half of internet searches on the internet happen inside of Google, and half of these are local in nature, meaning that if you're in a town, if you're in a new town visiting and you pick up your phone and you're looking for something that you need nearby, this means local in nature. So this is probably something that you're familiar with, right? Like, let's say you're visiting a new city for the first time, or maybe revisiting, but you're not super familiar. Maybe you didn't plan a lot of your trip in advance, but you're really curious about ice cream. So you search, best ice cream or ice cream near me, and you see a variety of options that pop up on Google or Google Maps. So after you're searching, you look for the one that really speaks to you the most, and you make a choice of where you want to visit. From this decision, you then likely look for directions, especially if you're unfamiliar with the area. So you hit that direction request button. Or let's say you have a question and you want to talk to somebody at that location, you can call them, you can visit their website. And then ultimately, you're going to make a purchase by visiting that location. So you probably do this 10 times a day without even thinking about it. You've also probably Google searched elsewhere. So, you can look for things on Google and Maps on your mobile device, on the internet, on a desktop, etc. However, Google Maps is actually managed inside of something called Google Business Profile. So this is where you're going to be making the updates to your verified Maps listing. So a couple things to note. Google Business Profile is actually the largest source of organic search exposure for businesses online. So, Google has shifted from really like a search engine to an answer engine. So they really are trying to provide information and answers for you. So when you ask questions, when you look for things, again, nearby, etc. The goal is to have an accurate and compelling business listing or maps listing, right? So if you're a business owner, you want to attract people to your location, whether you're, a business of one spot or if you have multiple locations in the town that you live in, you want to make sure that you're appearing on the internet and Google Maps specifically in the best way possible. So up-to-date listings are 2.7 times more likely to be considered reputable by Google, and also 70% more likely to attract visits to your actual store. And then half of that time can actually lead to a purchase. And really, that's the goal of any business owner. So there's some easy things that you can be doing inside of Google that will help make some improvements and also attract more customers. So number one, you want to claim your business listing. And we have a slide at the end of this that when you receive it, it will walk you through how to actually claim and verify a Google Maps listing. Because in order to eventually start using Locl, you'll need a verified business listing. So that's number one. You want to make sure you're live on the map. You also want to make sure that you're adding any missing information that might not be there. So making sure that your hours are up to date and set, making sure your business name is up to date, updating photos, etc. So again, this is what your business looks like inside of your business profile on Google. So this is where normally, without Locl, you'd go in, you edit your profile, you can respond to reviews, etc. And then any performance updates you make on here then will show up on the map like this. However, if you are a business owner and you've tried attempting to use Google Business Profile in the past, you probably know that it can get overwhelming quickly. Managing multiple locations at a time can be really challenging. You actually have to open up each listing separately to make those optimizations and make those edits. You're not getting a lot of insights about your Google Maps traffic. And it's also not connected to any other channel. So really, it's like you're alone on an island inside of this Google platform. But that's where we come in. So we've created Locl that basically it gives you expanded features that Google Business Profile doesn't have. It's incredibly user-friendly, saves you time, and there's a real human, me, on the other end providing service and support for things that you might need. Google, especially these days, they have a lot going on their end, and response time is limited or low. Sometimes you don't even hear back from customer support. So we really wanted to create something that made it easier for small business owners like yourself, or even large business owners that are, running the business where you're wearing a lot of hats. We wanted to make sure that we gave you a tool that would save you time, make it really user-friendly, and just made it a more seamless process overall. So a couple things to note before I jump into a demonstration. In Locl, you can manage all of your Google Business Profile listings in a single hub. So that means, again, you don't have to toggle between listings and sign in and out of Google Business Profile. You're able to easily monitor your business performance. So all of that Maps traffic coming to Google, you'll be able to see easily. You'll also be able to see a lot more data than you can inside of Google itself. So inside of Google Business Profile, they only show you 6 months worth of analytics data. In Locl, you'll actually be able to see 18 plus months. So you'll be able to see year-over-year comparisons, report on what's been going on, and more. Things like engaging with customers through reviews, promoting events and offers, and also connecting to Travel Oregon's listing database as well, just by clicking a single update button. So additionally, in order to provide you with a little bit more of a competitive edge and also help make managing your online business profiles easier, we've actually expanded our partnership with Travel Oregon to provide you with full access to our new Plus Reach subscription for free. So that means whether you're brand new to Locl or you're a current user that's already, been on Locl for a little while and you just needed a refresher, when you log into your Locl account, you're going to see more tools and resources available to you at no additional cost. So really with these Plus Reach benefits, you'll be able to sync business details across 75 plus online directories. So that includes things like Apple Maps, Bing, et cetera. So again, for business owners, marketers, et cetera, the space is messy and it also is time consuming to actually go to every single listing site and update things like your business name and your hours. No one has the time for that. So we've made it really easy. And if you're updating in Locl to Google anyway, it will also sync to all these other directories as well. So hopefully that's really helpful for you. We're super excited about it. It's been successful thus far. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch screens real quick. So hopefully you can see this. All right. So we've created a dedicated place where you can go and sign up for your Locl account through Travel Oregon. So we'll send this link out. I'm sure that Cecilia has probably put, or Kate are putting it into chat as we speak. But if you go to local.io/Travel Oregon, this is where you can get started by creating your account. So when you sign up, it's going to ask you a couple of things off the bat. So name, email, business address, or business name, sorry. Something to note is it's also going to ask you to immediately connect your Google business profile once you've filled out that information. So as I mentioned before, you can't start using Locl in the way it should be used without connecting your verified Google business profile account. So basically what happens is this will pull in all of your Maps traffic and data from your Google account. And that way it will let you upload, photos, edit information, et cetera, and push it back out to Google through our tool instead. So that's going to be the most important thing. While there's lots of things you'll be able to do once you're inside of Locl, I wanted to point out a couple of things to start. So when you sign on, you're going to see an onboarding page. And for those of you who maybe have been using Locl before or have come to one of these webinars, this page is actually new. So if you've already done a lot of these things, it won't pop up for you. But if you're a new user, then this is what you're going to see when you first sign on. So as I mentioned, one of the most important things is connecting your Google account and making sure that you have verified locations that are pulling in. Additionally, you can enable this profile lock. So what that means is you can suppress unwanted edits to your listing with this tool. So once that's enabled, information in Locl will become the source of truth. So if there's any discrepancies that are detected on Google, Locl will immediately publish updates to ensure your information on Google remains accurate. So if you've been on Google Maps for a while, you probably are aware that the general public can actually go in and make edits on your behalf, nilly-willy. So if someone maybe had a bad experience, hopefully they're not that malicious, but or if they showed up and you were closed for some reason, and they basically can go into Google and update your business hours without permission. So inside of Locl, we've created this feature to make sure that you have control of your listing and that people can't just suggest edits or update your listing without those permissions. So if you turn this on, then we'll lock that information for you and only you will be able to update that. Thirdly, you'll be able to separate out your listings and Maps traffic. So seeing and understanding where your top sources of traffic are coming from by separating Maps traffic is going to be really helpful. You'll be surprised at how much more traffic is actually coming from your Google business profile listing than any of their properties that you're maybe engaged with. So thinking about like Facebook, Yelp, et cetera. This is also typically lumped in with Google Organic and Google Analytics by default. But with Locl, you can separate this Maps traffic and create custom tagging on your website URL. So that way, when you're inside of Google Analytics, you'll actually be able to see the breakdown between Google Maps, Google Organic Search, and then all of your other sources of traffic too. So I would say that like these things are key immediately when you're in local. And then you can start thinking about some of the other tools that we offer. So I'm just going to go back to this page. So as I mentioned, connecting your Google account is important. If you don't do it up front, then you can go into your account section and add a new Google account that you do have access to as an owner or a manager at a later date. But again, this is going to be key for using the tool. So just as a note, I'm actually demoing with a current customer in another partnership of ours, Travel Portland. Aurochs Leather, you probably have heard of them before. They're located in Oregon, really, really wonderful leather shop. So a lot of the things that I'm going to show you today are examples from their local account and shop, just so you can get a feel of how other people are using this. So once these basic things are done that we just talked about on the onboarding page, you're going to want to start making sure that your listing is as up to date as possible. So, the first thing I'd recommend is heading over to this manage location section. So here you can do a lot of different things. To start, I would say make sure that your business name looks correct. And this is probably a no-brainer. You're thinking like, this is so simple, but you'd be surprised how many business names are actually showing incorrectly on Google and Maps. And this is who you are at the core, so you want to make sure that this is dialed in and update that. Then I would scroll down and make sure that your business hours are current and up to date. So this is, again, one of the simplest yet most important ways to stay connected to your customers. So making sure hours are up to date is how people will actually know if you're open or if you're closed for business. If your hours are inaccurate, you could risk losing a sale, which nobody wants. Additionally, I would make sure that your categories are set. So we rarely run into a business who has categories set correctly. These categories help inform both people and other search engines about the type of business you're managing, and really helping to generate more searches and visibility on the back end as well. So Google allows you to set both a primary category and then several additional categories to help optimize your listing and cast a wider net in search. The primary category that you select on a Google listing is important, as this is what searchers are going to see on your actual Maps listing. And then adding these additional categories that have maybe relevant subjects or categories, keywords, etc., to your business are going to be really helpful on the back end, because essentially, if you're thinking about how people are searching out there, they're coming up with keywords about the kind of business they want to visit. So gift shop, souvenir store, leather goods, etc. So if you're a restaurant, but you also are a bar, I would recommend, adding those secondary categories, the additional ones, to make sure you're generating more activity in search and popping up more often. You can also update your business description inside of Manage Locations. And again, this is a simple thing, but this is going to help really describe who you are as a business, but also this is a really great place to be able to put actual content and keywords into a description. So that way, again, you're optimizing your listing, you're casting that wider net in Google search, but additionally, you're also making sure that you're using some of the keywords from the categories that you identify with inside of your business description. I also wanted to make note that with Plus Reach, anytime you update things like your business name, like your business hours, the fields that correspond with those other platforms, those are going to be automatically pushed out and updated when you're updating inside of here to Google too. So by completing just a few of these things, you're going to be on your way to appearing in more search results and then turning those searches into sales, which you're going to hear me say that a bunch of times. You probably already have kind of a broken record, but just driving the point home that this is important for helping your business. So once these basic things are optimized, you should start thinking about performance specific optimization. So things like uploading photos, Google posts, and reviews. So as you can see here, we have a photo and video section that you're able to upload bulk photos and bulk images to your Google business profile in a single click. So really, just as a quick stat for you to understand how important photos on a Google listing are, a listing with 100+ photos that are owner submitted are actually going to be viewed, listings are going to be viewed 20 times more often than listings with less photos. Photos are a big deal for many reasons. We live in a very visual world right now. I know a lot of people pay a lot of attention to things like Instagram these days, which is equally important in some ways. However, photos on Google are going to tell the story of who you are. It's going to show people exactly what they can expect when they search for you and then plan to visit your location, and could be like a deciding factor of why they would come to you as opposed to somebody else with maybe some photos that aren't as visually appealing. So thinking about photos like exterior shots, interior shots, people, if it's, let's say it's a restaurant, people dining at your location or shopping, product images, if you're a boutique, you have a variety of options. I would say that you don't need to upload professional photos all the time, but fresh images that are appealing to the eye and appealing to other people are going to be key. Also, activity. So thinking about uploading photos at least once a month, a couple times a month would be great. With our tool, you can actually schedule photo uploads in advance. So if you are somebody that likes to work, against a marketing calendar, or just likes to get some stuff done and check things off a list to save yourself time, you can go in here at the beginning of every month, upload, let's say like 50 photos at a time, or if you don't have that many all the time, then 5 to 10 photos, a few times a month. Upload them here, and then you can schedule them out and pick what date you want them to be published. So really our tool is meant to just set it and forget it after you've already done the work on the back end. This shouldn't take more than 10-15 minutes a month if you're really planning and using your time wisely. You can also upload things like your logo, a cover photo for your profile, and also short videos too. So I had mentioned Google Posts before. Google Posts, if you're unfamiliar, are like free advertising on a listing that are going to help with optimization and search ranking. So they're pretty similar to social media posts like you see on Facebook and Instagram. And you can upload a lot of different types of posts, like event posts if you have a special event happening at your location, offer posts if you have any sort of promotions that are going on. These are really great, especially right now. I mean, this is good timing. We're thinking about holiday season, Thanksgiving's next week. Obviously, the other holidays are just right around the corner. So if you're having any special, holiday related events, if you're having a Black Friday sale, start thinking about this as a way to maximize those promotions, but also just build momentum on your listing as well and help with search. Something to point out that's really cool that Google Business Profile doesn't offer is we've actually created a social media connector. So through here, you can actually connect your Facebook and Instagram accounts directly to your local account. And what this does, if it's connected, is pull in the most recent posts from those social media accounts that you're then able to edit and push out to Google just with a couple of clicks. So as you can see here, they've connected their Instagram account. So it will say source and show the Instagram icon. If it's a Facebook account, then it will have the little Facebook icon like here. And then once these have been pushed out to Google, you'll see source as local. So this is our little local logo over here. So you can see that this has already been published. So basically, the thing to keep in mind once you've connected these, and this is something you can do as soon as you sign up with those other onboarding efforts that we talked about earlier, what you can do is once they start pulling in, you can edit these posts, add a call to action. So, buy tickets or learn more, and then either publish it right away or schedule your posts out just like you can schedule your photos out. So, So again, this is really helpful for people working against a marketing calendar or just wanting to do a lot of work up front so you don't have to be in here all the time. If you are connected to social media and you do want to keep it more current, You can come in a couple times a week, which is amazing. And I highly recommend doing it, but also it's not necessary. We're trying to save you time. But it's very easy to simply edit it, add a couple of things and push it out. So, if that's something you're interested in, I would suggest doing that. So we've also created a hub for Google reviews, and that you can find in our reputation section. So in here, this is where you can keep track and manage all of your reviews from either your single location or multiple locations at once. So right now we have both of their locations pulled up. We can select the date range that we want to see reviews from. And so this is where you're going to see the reviews, the rating. It's where you can reply to them. There's a few things to point out in this section. So you can toggle by star ratings. You can also toggle by haven't replied to yet. So if you get reviews and maybe you're not keeping up with them as often as you should, you can click this one here to see the ones you haven't yet replied to and then go ahead and reply. We've also provided some keyword insights here, and this is showing how people are actually talking about your locations. So if they're leaving a review, these are the words that they're using. And this is really great information for you to have because you can use these words in your responses, and you can also take these and use them other places to help optimize your listing as well. Something Google does not have is this quick reply template section. So this again is meant to be a time saver for you. So what you can do is come in here and create several different quick replies templates to use. So when you're applying, you can select those templates and upload them to your response. So something like, thanks so much for visiting. We appreciate your business. And then I have a couple of recommendations. If you do create quick replies, I would also mention that you should make them as personalized as possible when you're replying. So if you have one that's like, thanks so much, I would just add a quick, thanks so much, Alicia, to your response. Google likes to see engagement in reviews and also likes to know that there's a human that's actually responding. I get a lot of questions when I do these presentations about review responses. People are often wondering if they should respond to both positive and negative reviews. The answer is yes. I would say keep it short and sweet for both, and especially for negative reviews. So if you get a review that's less than desirable, 1 star, 2 star, that maybe isn't saying the nicest things about your business, instead of responding in the same manner, I would recommend that you reply just with a simple, we're sorry to hear about your experience. Please feel free to reach out to us at an info email address. This way you're showing that you care, you're engaging for Google search optimization results too, because that's also important, but you're also taking it offline and you're not creating conflict where everybody else can see it. So just some food for thought for future, but yes, you should respond to every review if you can. So once you've consistently been making some of these optimization efforts, managing your location information like we first talked about, but then also the ongoing photo uploads, creation of Google posts, responding to reviews, then you're going to see the efforts and effects of all of your efforts in our analytics dashboard. So this tool should hopefully be really helpful for you to actually get some insight on what's going on online on your Google Maps listing. And this should correlate directly with the business that you're seeing in real life. So you can see all of your locations at once in aggregate here, which is really helpful. Or you can select one location at a time, whatever you are looking for information in and what you want to report on. You can also download reports for yourself or for people that need to see them. You can select specific date ranges. And as I mentioned, we track 18 plus months worth of maps data. So that means that you're able to see year over year comparisons to look at your business and what maybe has been going on. Let's say you ran a special promotion or had a special week-long event. You can select those dates and get really granular to see, what the traffic on Google looked like in that time period. You can even click a single day if you wanted to see what that looks like. So Here, you're going to find several different things, including like website visits, phone calls, direction requests. These are all actions that people are actually taking on Google Maps, either on mobile or on the internet, like on your desktop, like I showed you earlier. So if somebody is clicking that direction request button, get directions, this is how many times it showed up or they took action on those buttons within this time period. We also just launched a new feature. This is really exciting, where you can now find how people are actually searching for you and finding you. So we have a whole keyword section here that shows you that, for this example, for Aurochs, people are searching Portland leather more often than some other things. Aurochs leather using their brand name, leather goods, leather specific types of bags. This is really great insight for you for a lot of reasons, mostly because, again, similar to the review keywords that I showed you a few minutes ago, you can actually take these keywords and use them when you're talking about your business in your business description in Google Posts. And this is going to help everything kind of work together and boost those search results and cast that wider net. So you're definitely going to want to take a look at this to see, in this time, in like a 1 month time period, but also just, over the last year, how have people been actually searching for you? This is really helpful information. We're super excited about this. So hopefully it will be helpful. You can also see how people are searching or where people are searching from and clicking that direction request button. So the top zip codes or even ones that maybe are, less searched from. This is good because you can think about this, especially if you're thinking about or using things like Google Ads or other kinds of advertising and marketing. If you're trying to boost more searches in specific zip codes and you want to target them specifically, this shows you exactly where people are looking. And then you have discovery search versus direct search down here. So you can see exactly how many people found you by using things like either your keywords in discovery search or brand name in direct search. You'll also be able to see how many times your Google posts were viewed, how many times your photos were viewed, how many new reviews you've gotten within that time period. So there's a lot of really useful information here that hopefully will be beneficial for you. And again, these numbers specifically are going to start going up even more. People are going to find you more often, the more attention and time you dedicate to actually putting effort into optimizing your listing. And so another thing I just wanted to mention before we wrap up is that if you're not an expert with Google, it's fine. We have laid out all of what you should be doing and when to do it here in our overview page. So this is basically a personalized task list that we've created to help you gain insight on next steps to take inside of Locl, any news that has happened, any new things that have happened since the last time you were here. So let's say there's a new review that came through your listing, we'll notify you here, and also you can opt into web notifications and email notifications as well. So really it just takes the guesswork and keeps you on track so you can manage your listing like a pro. And as I mentioned, this is supposed to be a time saver. So take advantage of things like scheduling photos, scheduling posts. If you don't necessarily have a marketing calendar that you're working against, that's fine. If you're in here a couple times a month and uploading a few photos and creating a couple of posts, you're going to be in better shape than you were before this. So hopefully you'll take advantage. I am going to turn it back to Cecilia, and we will have plenty of time to answer any questions that you might have.
Excellent. Thank you, Alexa. These are always so informative, and I always think, yep, I got Locl, and I feel like I learned something new, or there's something new and exciting every time we do this. So we did get a couple of questions in the Q&A. One is going back to Locl being the source of truth over Google. So the question is, how is this impacted if a Locl user decides to leave the Locl platform and go back to Google directly? And then related, this I think is more of the content management If a business has multiple users that are managing those listings, who is the ultimate editor? And then what happens if you have an employee leave that has been an editor? Sorry, that's like 500 questions. Oh, I think I put you on
I'm
mute.
muted. Yep. These are great questions. So a couple of things. If you no longer use local, then that profile lock no longer is relevant. So you would just be making edits to your listing through Google Business Profile as opposed to local, and the profile lock wouldn't be on anymore. We also, something I didn't mention in this presentation or demo is that we actually have a feature called team members that we can help turn on for you that basically allows you to invite other employees into the platform. So if you create your local account, you would be an owner, and then you could invite team members to be a team member under you, and they could be given permissions. You could either grant them permissions for all of our tools or just a certain number of tools, whichever you want them to be managing within local, to be able to use the platform to make these updates or respond to reviews or upload photos, etc. themselves. So it still gives them access to make all of these updates. Also, if you have a Google Business Profile at this point and you are the owner of the profile, chances are you probably have other team members that are like quote unquote managers. So if they are using local and they are a team member, the lock will work the same way where an outsider or anyone else that's trying to edit those that aren't an owner or a manager are going to get prevented from being changed. So hopefully that helps clarify. I definitely recommend that team member function. And I would say that again, like making these updates inside of local for the time that you have it, which will hopefully be forever, will be helpful and easier to understand and manage versus Google Business Profile.
Yeah, and I think just adding to who's managing what content, just speaking from personal experience, Travel Oregon uses local to manage our welcome center listings. Like for example, we have a welcome center at the Portland International Airport, and we have a couple staff members that do have access to those accounts. So it's possible that you might have a staff member that their job is to review, to reply to reviews, and then maybe you have another staff member that's really dedicated to the post. So just being aware of who's responsible for what is good to know, and just being in communication. Yes, we have more questions. Thank you, everyone. We had one attendee said, my local account doesn't show photos, but I have photos in my Google profile, and aren't they supposed to be connected automatically? Which this one might be an offline follow-up question where we compare, like we'll look at your Google and then we'll look at your local account. So
yeah,
yep.
I would need to take a look to see exactly what's going on, because yes, they should. Your local account, assuming you didn't just create it 5 minutes ago, should have all of that information pulled in, including photos, if your Google Business Profile is connected.
So to the anonymous attendee that asked that question, if you could send Alexa or myself an email or put us both on it, that would be super, and we can dig into your individual situation.
And that, I'm going to just say, that goes for anyone with any sort of technical question across the board from now and moving forward. Feel free to reach out to both of us or one of us.
Okay, and back to the lock, the attribute lock. I'm sorry, I didn't put these two questions together. With the lock feature, does that mean a local user can't make changes on Google directly? And do I have to make the changes directly in local once I have turned on the lock?
So the lock doesn't prevent everything. So the Google lock feature or the profile lock specifically prevents changes like business name and hours. It's not going to prevent changes to like every single thing on your listing. So I would say like still using local to make any edits, specifically these very basic business information edits, is going to be necessary to keep everything consistent. Yes.
I'm moving my cursor all around here. I like this question. Can a business without a permanent brick and mortar location still benefit from Google Business Profile and local? Thinking of pop-ups, seasonal businesses, and maybe I'll throw another one in here. Say you're online only, or maybe your service area is very large, like you don't have a storefront.
Yes. The answer simply is yes. Anybody that has a business can benefit from local, especially if you're a service area or an online business. When you create a Google Maps listing and go to verify it, it will ask you about service area. It will also require you to provide an address. However, that address doesn't necessarily need to be displayed publicly if you're a service area business, which you would be if you were like an online shop or something, because you're actually like providing goods or services to other people that aren't coming to your home or to your location. So yes, I would say this is definitely a great tool and resource for you to use, even if you don't have a brick and mortar.
Excellent, thank you. I don't see more questions coming in, but we definitely have some time for them. If you attendees have, oh, here we go. I love it. Thanks, Ursula. Okay, so local is free right now for tourism businesses. Okay, Maupin Area Chamber of Commerce. Hello, Maupin
I
Area
love
Chamber of
Maupin,
Commerce.
one of my favorite places in Oregon.
Member businesses don't need to pay anything. What we at Travel Oregon consider a tourism business is any business that has a visitor experience. So if you're a boutique, a visitor can come there and shop there. If you're a welcome center, a visitor to Oregon can pop on in there. Ice cream, which is always a theme in our trainings. Like there are a lot of businesses are tourism businesses to us. Yeah, so your members can go sign up for an account. And then also, since you mentioned you're from a chamber of commerce, we know that we do have tourism businesses that, you know, the chamber of commerce itself might not have a big sale, but you might have a business in your community that has something coming up, an event. I know right now we have a lot of holiday celebrations coming up, and we actually have, I will give a shout out. I think it's the Oregon Frontier Chamber has been posting their community events, and that's been great for the extra promotion of that. And then also those events do come into Travel Oregon's listing database for consideration to go on traveloregon.com. So I love that bonus. Let's see here. Thank you everyone for the engagement today. You will get a recording of this presentation. It'll go out by email. Usually you'll receive it within 2 business days, maybe sooner, if I'm on my A game today. Okay. What is the best way to tackle different businesses in the same location? For example, your business is an attraction, so a zip line course, but you also have a cafe on site. Should you create a Google listing for the cafe separately and then manage it through local? Because of course you want people to stop in and eat at the cafe, or food truck. That's also a good example. Say a winery has a resident food truck on location. So how do you manage those?
Yeah, so I'm going to backtrack. You can manage multiple listings at once inside of local. So if you do have separate maps listings, you can manage all of them through local. In terms of creating a separate maps listing, yes, I do recommend if you have a cafe that's a separate business from the ziplining location, then I would say that it does make sense to create a secondary maps listing. Typically what we've recommended in the past is if you are creating a separate maps listing for an additional business that exists in your business, using an address that's the same is fine, but then potentially creating like a suite number or like a unit number for that business. So it's not, because Google sometimes will flag businesses that have the same address because they're just confused. So I would say, like, if you wanted to create a listing specifically for the cafe, you should go ahead and do that. And then once that's verified, you can edit all of your listings inside of Locl.
One more question. This from the great Kate Jorgensen, working backstage tech today. Can we speak to through the local sign-up process? So when I go into that sign-up form, I know there are steps there, and there is one section where you connect to your Google business profile, and it has some pretty strong, kind of scary language. Can we just touch on that for a moment?
Sure. Yeah. So it's basically going to ask to give us permission to obtain the information in your data inside of your Google profile, which will allow you then to make those edits to the listing. A lot of people are a little hesitant because they think that, Travel Oregon or Locl, since we have permissions, we're going to go in and make changes. That will never happen. We will never make any edits or changes on your behalf. It's simply to be able to pull in that data so that way you can do it. And also, we're not a separate entity from Google specifically. We're actually a Google partner. So like, they know that this is happening. We have this API that connects to Google and to Otis, which is Travel Oregon's database. So basically, by pulling in your account information, this then allows us and Google to publish things on your behalf. Or sorry, for you to publish it. We will never publish it on your behalf. Ever, 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 ever. I will say that 10,000 times.
Yes. So you, as the local user, you do what you need in Locl, you publish what you need, and then Locl's role is push your information back to Google, and then also push any updates to Travel Oregon. So yeah. Yes, just to reiterate. And always, if you have any questions throughout the sign up, if you're not quite ready to sign up and you need more information, once you're in Locl, understanding how things work together, please do not hesitate to reach out to us by email. We are always happy to help. Hands-on customer service. We want to make sure that you have a great experience and that we're answering, any possible questions that you can run into, because your success is our success. Your Google listing being complete and better helps visitors make wonderful, informed choices and have great experiences when they are visiting our great state. So I think all questions have been answered. Thank you, Kate. She just dropped the survey link into chat. Again, we will send y'all an email that includes links to this recording today, links to the slide deck, maybe more links, and also the survey link. So I thank everyone for your time today. I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexa. Have a good day.